Stoicism, an ancient Greek and Roman philosophy founded in the early 3rd century BC by Zeno of Citium. It is a philosophy that many Roman statesmen and emperors such as Cato, Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius followed. Stoicism not only has the power to change your life for the better, but it also has the power for one to have a deeper understanding of life and help one understand their purpose in this complex endeavor of life. Here at the Stoic Lifestyle, we will define Stoicism through 5 tenets. These 5 tenets are chosen because they are a perfect summary of Stoicism as a whole. In order to fully understand Stoicism and its values, you have to stay till the very end and vigilantly listen to our tenets. Now for the moment you have been waiting for. 5 tenets to fully understand Stoicism. The first tenet that encapsulates Stoicism is emphasis on virtue and character. One of the core principles of Stoic philosophy is the emphasis on developing virtue and excellent character. More than anything else, the Stoics valued living a virtuous life, filled with wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. The Stoics believed that by focusing on cultivating virtue, a person would live a good, flourishing life aligned with nature. Developing moral character was not just an abstract philosophical pursuit for the Stoics. It was an active process of daily self-improvement and examination. Their goal was to become the best versions of themselves through practice and discipline. The ancient Stoics realized that emotions and desires often cloud our judgment and lead us astray. By actively shaping their inner character, they hoped to gain control over wayward passions and become steadfast, honorable people. A virtuous person was expected to face hardship and adversity with equanimity, overcoming external events through inner strength and tranquility. The Stoics did not believe external things like wealth, fame, or pleasure could bring true happiness. They taught that happiness could only be found through wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. By embodying these virtues, a person would gain mastery over their judgments and impressions, allowing them to live freely and fulfill their highest potential. Virtue represents the pinnacle of human excellence for the Stoics. Their relentless self-discipline and self-examination was aimed at developing unshakable virtue. A life of virtue is rewarding in itself, leading to a type of joy and contentment the Stoics called ataraxia. By making progress towards ideal virtue, Stoics believed anyone could find meaning and tranquility within. The emphasis on moral character remains one of the most recognizable and impactful aspects of Stoic philosophy. Their insights into human nature, desire, and living wisely continue to inspire people today to reflect on virtue and how we can express it each day. The second tenet today is acceptance of fate and events outside one's control. A central principle of Stoic philosophy is the belief in accepting events that are outside of our control with grace and equanimity. The Stoics realized that much of what happens in the course of our lives is determined by nature and providence. There are external events, situations, and circumstances that we have no power over. Rather than frustrate themselves trying to control or change what is ultimately fate, the Stoics focused their energies on self-mastery. They believed the key to happiness was to learn how to distinguish between what is up to us and what is not up to us. We have power over our judgments, values, and reason, but not over health, wealth, reputation, or misfortune. By accepting the hand of fate with calmness and level-headedness, the Stoics thought a person could avoid much anguish and turmoil. Struggling against the inevitable only leads to more suffering, but by practicing indifference to what lies beyond our control, we gain inner peace. The Stoics would frequently use the analogy of a dog tied to a moving cart. The dog can choose to obediently follow the cart or resist and be dragged along. Either way, the cart will move forward. Similarly, we can accept life circumstances without complaint, or fruitlessly fight against them and make ourselves miserable. This Stoic tenet was not about passivity or resignation. The Stoics still exhorted people to take action to improve life and help others, but they taught that worries over factors outside our control were ultimately pointless. Accepting fate with courage, dignity, and wisdom is the wisest course. This seminal Stoic idea reoriented their perspective on life's difficulties. Hardships are inevitable, but how we respond to them defines our character. By accepting what we cannot change, while focusing on our own personal growth, the Stoics believed we can find tranquility and fulfillment whatever befalls us. The third tenet today is mastering one's judgment and perceptions. The Stoics believed that attaining inner tranquility required mastering one's judgments and perceptions. While we cannot control external events, we have the power to control how we judge and view the world. The Stoics practiced constantly monitoring their initial impressions of situations to ensure they were perceiving things rationally and objectively. They strived to view events dispassionately, without knee-jerk reactions based on fear, anger, pleasure, or pain. Examining and disciplining their faculty of judgment was central to their philosophy. The Stoics taught that emotions arise from our valued judgments about events. External things in themselves are neutral. It is our perceptions that imbue them with meaning. By working to perfect their clarity of judgment, the Stoics hoped to prevent excessive passions like grief, lust, or envy from taking root. Stoic mind training included continually questioning initial impressions and conclusions to make sure they were logical and grounded. The aim was to gain control over one's inner landscape, to manage perceptions consciously, instead of being involuntarily swayed by emotions. This practice allowed the Stoics to approach hardships and calamities with equanimity. While events were often outside their control, their reasoned response was within their power. By mastering their judgments, the Stoics could face setbacks and adversity with wisdom and objectivity. The Stoic emphasis on mastering perception encouraged proactivity and self-responsibility. Rather than play the role of victims to circumstance, the Stoics sought to shape their inner world. A disciplined, rational faculty of judgment was key to this aim. Clear discernment, untainted by passion, was the path to tranquil, wise living. This seminal Stoic discipline remains relevant today. Learning to objectively examine our judgments, question impressions, and control knee-jerk reactions is central to our psychology. By mastering perception, as the Stoics aim to do, we gain agency over our inner life. The fourth tenet today is live in harmony with nature. The Stoics believed that humans should strive to live in harmony with nature and the rational order of the universe. For the Stoics, nature was providential, ordered, and purposeful. They taught that by understanding the patterns of nature and living reasonably within them, people could find meaning and contentment. The ideal Stoic life was one marked by simplicity, self-restraint, and reflection. Rather than constantly seeking pleasure or material possessions, the Stoics counseled living moderately in balance with what nature provides. This allowed for greater appreciation of life's basic goods like food, shelter, and relationships. Part of aligning with nature was fulfilling one's natural purpose as a human being. The Stoics believed human nature was inherently rational, so living rationally was living naturally. Making reasoned choices, controlling passions, and contemplating truth-enabled natural human excellence. Moderation and prudence allowed one to avoid excess and dissipation. By renouncing empty desires for fame, wealth, and hedonistic thrills, the Stoics hoped to attain inner calm and freedom. Only desires for what is natural and necessary, like companionship and basic sustenance, were worth pursuing. Anything in excess of nature's needs causes turmoil. Living in agreement with nature also involved accepting life's transience and uncertainties with equanimity. Death, illness, and loss are inevitable parts of existence. By acknowledging this natural cycle without complaint, Stoics could remain unperturbed. The Stoic ideal of aligning with nature endures as an insightful guide to living well. Seeking balance, reflecting on life's brevity, and focusing on simplicity rather than materialism can foster deep fulfillment. Living in harmony with nature allows anyone to flourish. The fifth tenet today is be indifferent to external things. The Stoics taught the discipline of indifference as a way to achieve tranquility. This involved being indifferent towards external things outside one's control that were considered indifference. For the Stoics, things like wealth, status, pleasure, health, and fame were preferred indifference, meaning they were advantageous, but ultimately outside of one's control. The only true good was moral virtue and wisdom. All else was variable and could be used well or poorly. By being indifferent to external indifference, the Stoics hoped to gain mastery over wayward emotions like fear, lust, and envy. Events themselves are neutral. It is our excessive attachment to indifference that causes turmoil. Practicing indifference allowed one to endure both good and bad fortune with wisdom and perspective. The discipline of indifference did not mean apathy or resignation. The Stoics still strove to improve life and help others, but they cultivated detachment from results, praise, comfort, and success. These were never guarantees in life. By accepting whatever came their way, the Stoics found inner stability. Stoic indifference required objectively judging between what was in one's power and what was not. Most of life's preferables, like health or prosperity, are fleeting and variable. But our character and judgments remain within our control. This is where the Stoics focused their energies. This practice allowed the Stoics to face calamity and prosperity alike with courage and equanimity. Through studied indifference to external indifference, they hoped to conquer fear and desire. By focusing on virtue rather than valuing indifference, the Stoics believed one could live freely and excellently according to nature. The Stoic discipline of indifference provides a framework for inner resilience today. Learning to accept both good and bad fortune with wisdom and perspective remains an insightful path to tranquility. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and if you want to watch more life-changing Stoic content, hit the bell for notifications. As usual, comment below Stoic lifestyle to show you stayed till the end. Thank you for watching, and if you are new here, welcome to the Stoic lifestyle.